I've already got a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan, and my ink collection is an okay size. I'm looking into buying a TWSBI pen next, but I'm a little confused as to how different the Eco and the Diamond 580 actually are. Should I stick with the less expensive Eco and get a nicer bottle of ink with it, or is buying the more costly 580 and sticking with the ink I've got worth the extra money? So, this is a great question. I really wanted to take this so that we could slice it out and, make it its own video, because I get a lot of questions comparing the Eco and the 580. I thought this was a nice little twist, throwing the ink thing in there too. So the Eco and the 580 are actually fairly similar. There are some distinct differences, but I don't know that it's like twice the price worth kind of differences. So, TWSBI came out with the 580 before the Eco, so that was kind of more like the standard pen. And then the Eco was the first pen they came out with that cost less than the 580, which the 580 at $50 for a piston filling pen is already a really good deal. It's a nice writing pen. The piston action on it is very smooth. You can disassemble it. It's got interchangeable nib units. It's got a lot going on. It's a demonstrator, which a lot of people love. It's got a nice cap insert, so it seals well. It's really well thought out. So I've been a big fan of TWSBI for a number of years. It's a very popular pen for those who are starting out in the fountain pen world because it's such a good value. Yes, they're not perfect, and they've gone through, they're relatively, as far as the models of pens go, they've been around for, 5 years, 6 years or so, but it's not like, huge amount of time in the grand scheme of things. So they've been working out some manufacturing things, especially in the early years. They're a lot more stable now. But the design, the diamond design on the body of the pen is really kind of unique and kind of cool and very signature for the 580. So when they wanted to come out with an even more economical pen, which is where the word Eco comes from, it doesn't come from like hopping on the green, energy train or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that kind of Eco, but it has to do with Eco in terms of economy, being an affordable pen. That's where the name Eco comes from, if you're not familiar. But it's very similar in size overall to the 580. The piston mechanism is actually, I don't know if it's exactly identical, but it sure as heck looks the exact same to me. The nib is a little bit different. It uses a smaller number 4 size nib as opposed to a number 5 that's on the 580. This is a 580 all, by the way. It's got the aluminum grip section and stuff, just in case you're wondering, but still, same concept. The big difference between this from a design aspect is it does not have the diamond barrel. It's just got a straight barrel, and it's a different type of plastic that's used to achieve that. So it's treated differently. It's a little bit different. It's a more cost-effective way to manufacture it, which is why it costs less. And then as far as the grip goes, it does not have an interchangeable nib unit. It's affixed to the pen. It does have a nib and feed that you can theoretically pull out. You have to be careful because the feeds are very soft and you can bend those fins easier than you would probably prefer. But then it just kind of fits back nicely in there. If you've done it a few times, it's not too bad to get the hang of it. But that's what it's all about there. And then it has a hexagonal cap with the same kind of insert in the top that seals it off nicely, O-ring at the base and everything. So still seals really well, still performs well. Heard a few things about it, like kind of burping and leaking here and there. Honestly, most of the time what happens with the Eco, the reason it can burp and leak a little bit is because air bubbles and stuff get trapped up in this feed because it's got this affixed grip and just the way that the feed is designed in there. So when you're going to fill it, what will help a lot, fill it and then expel out some and then fill it again. So get those air bubbles out of the grip section. And then once it's completely full, just drip a couple of drips out and then let it go. And then you're good to write. That will fix 90% probably. I don't know, there's a hard number, but that will probably fix about 90% of those leaking issues that you hear about with the TWSBI Eco. 580 doesn't deal with that quite as much. So that's about it. But it's almost half the price to get an Eco. It's like $28.99 versus $50. Or a little bit more if you get the all version. But it's really pretty good. So personally, I would say if you care a little bit less about the aesthetics and more about the function of the pen, the Eco is going to be the better value, and then you can get some extra ink. You can get a bottle of Roshizuku almost at that price, or you could get like a couple of bottles of some less expensive ink. It's really up to you, but that's kind of where I end up landing. I have both pens. I enjoy both pens. I think I actually have more Ecos at this point than I do 580s. I have a bunch of 540s. That was the previous version of these, and they were in more colors and stuff like that. Those I could not resist, especially the blue one. But anyway, so the Eco, I think, is more of the bang for the buck, but certainly the 580 is a worthy pen as well. It really just depends on what's most important to you. It's mainly an aesthetic difference.